The War of the Spanish Succession, a struggle for power and balance. Introduction. The War of the Spanish Succession, 1701 to 1714, was one of the most significant European conflicts of the early modern era, determining the balance of power in Europe and shaping the fate of the Spanish Empire. The war arose following the death of the childless Charles II of Spain and the struggle between major European powers over who would inherit the vast Spanish territories. What followed was a brutal, continent-spanning war that involved nearly every major European power and had far-reaching consequences for global history.
Causes of the war.
The death of Charles II and the succession crisis. Charles II of Spain, the last Habsburg monarch of Spain, was physically weak and mentally unstable due to generations of inbreeding within the royal family. With no direct heirs, his death in 1700 triggered a succession crisis that would engulf Europe in war. The two main claimants to the Spanish throne were Philip of Anjou, the grandson of Louis XIV of France, Bourbon family, supported by France and Spain. Archduke Charles of Austria, son of Holy Roman Emperor Leopold I, backed by the Holy Roman Empire, Britain, the Dutch Republic, and other allies. The primary concern among European powers was maintaining a balance of power. If Philip of Anjou inherited the Spanish throne, it would create a Franco-Spanish superpower, threatening the stability of Europe. The Grand Alliance forms. To prevent French dominance, a coalition called the Grand Alliance was formed, consisting of Great Britain, the Dutch Republic, the Holy Roman Empire, Portugal,
Savoy.
This alliance opposed the French-backed Spanish monarchy and sought to place Archduke Charles on the Spanish throne. Key battles and campaigns. The war begins 1701 to 1703. The war officially began in 1701 when Louis XIV proclaimed Philip as King of Spain, ignoring previous treaties that sought to divide Spain's territories. This led to immediate hostilities. Battle of Blenheim, 1704, a turning point. One of the most decisive battles of the war, the Battle of Blenheim, was fought in 1704. The Duke of Marlborough, leading the Anglo-Dutch forces, and Prince Eugene of Savoy, commanding Austrian troops, secured a major victory over the Franco-Bavarian army. This battle shattered French dominance in Central Europe and prevented France from overrunning the Holy Roman Empire. Campaigns in Spain, 1705 to 1710. While France dominated early campaigns in Spain, British forces, led by the Earl of Peterborough, achieved remarkable successes, capturing Barcelona, 1705, and securing Catalonia for the Austrian claimant. However, Spain remained deeply divided, with Castile supporting Philip and Aragon favoring Charles. Battle of Ramillies, 1706, and Oudenarde, 1708. Marlborough's forces continued their successes with decisive victories at Ramillies, 1706, and Oudenarde, 1708, further weakening France and leading to the occupation of much of the Spanish Netherlands by Allied forces. The tide turns, 1710 to 1713. By 1710, the war's momentum shifted due to growing war fatigue in Britain and changes in European politics. In 1711, Emperor Joseph I of Austria died, leaving his brother, Archduke Charles, as the new Holy Roman Emperor. A Franco-Spanish alliance was undesirable, but a Habsburg-Spanish empire was equally alarming. Britain, weary of the war, sought a diplomatic resolution. The Treaty of Utrecht, 1713. After years of war and a stalemate in Spain, the conflict ended with the Treaty of Utrecht, 1713, which had major consequences. Philip V was recognized as King of Spain, but he had to renounce any claim to the French throne, ensuring that France and Spain would never unite under one ruler. Britain gained Gibraltar and Minorca, expanding its influence in the Mediterranean. The Dutch retained key fortresses, strengthening their security. Austria gained Spanish territories in Italy and the Netherlands, increasing its power. The treaty significantly reshaped European politics and ended nearly 13 years of warfare. Consequences of the war. Impact on Spain. While Spain remained intact, it was severely weakened. The war drained its resources, and the Bourbon reforms were implemented to modernize its governance. The Spanish Empire would decline over the following centuries. Britain's rise as a global power. Britain emerged as a dominant naval power. Securing Gibraltar allowed Britain to control Mediterranean trade routes, while its economic and military expansion laid the foundation for its empire. France's decline and financial struggles. France, under Louis XIV, suffered immense economic losses. The war had drained its treasury, weakened its military, and reduced its influence in European affairs. The Habsburg expansion. Austria benefited significantly from the war, gaining territories in Italy and the Spanish Netherlands, making it a dominant force in Central Europe. Legacy of the war. The War of the Spanish Succession played a crucial role in shaping 18th-century Europe. It established the principle of balance of power, ensuring no single nation could dominate the continent. The war also marked Britain's emergence as a global power, setting the stage for future conflicts between Britain and France, including the Napoleonic Wars. Conclusion. The War of the Spanish Succession was a defining moment in European history. It was a struggle over royal inheritance that evolved into a larger battle for dominance. The war saw legendary military leaders, intense diplomacy, and major battles that shaped the course of history. While it ended with a compromise, the effects of the war were long-lasting, influencing European politics, warfare, and empire building for centuries.